3, 2, 1.
Now! What up, Luke?
Come on, Toe. Have you got a fact?
I have a fact indeed.
Oh, fact me. Is it about a farm animal?
Better. You remember last week I learned about hogs?
Oh yeah, and swine.
Yes. Well, today I would like to continue talking about hogs, and more precisely, truffle hogs.
Ooh. Have you ever hugged a hog?
So, truffle hogs.
Anyway.
In some countries, especially apparently in North America and Europe, hogs are used to find truffle with their nose.
Yep.
Well, did you know that in Italy, the use of pigs to hunt for truffles has been prohibited since 1985?
Oh.
Yeah,
It's been prohibited.
exactly.
Why so? Tell me more.
So apparently, the reason is the animal damages. Wait, how do I read that? Okay, I'm gonna read that Wikipedia page. It's gonna be so much easier. Due to the damage the animal causes to the mycelia of truffles when they were digging.
So basically, they've prohibited it because it spoils the truffles.
That's correct.
That is such an Italian thing to do.
Well, food is more important than anything else, so...
That's actually a really good fact.
Yeah, I know.
It's 1985, did you say?
1985. And just to end that sentence, this has reduced the production rate for numbers of years.
Oh, like so. There's not as many truffles getting sniffed out. Because how do you find them without the pigs?
So apparently you can use dogs.
By looking. Okay, and they don't ruin the mycelium or whatever it's called.
Yes. I have no idea.
I can. You're looking at me blankly. I can tell that you are an expert in the field.
Oh yeah, completely. I know everything about that.
I would imagine that you and your family, excuse me, you and your family are the kind of family that would go out picking truffles.
Oh, completely. I'm family. Hand by hand, we were going. And
with like little wicker baskets.
So we were actually using my little brother as a sniffer.
But it got banned. So
yeah, he got banned too because... well, this wasn't about diseases or whatever. Apparently it was just human... Like, you couldn't treat people like that.
Like human rights.
That's so fucking ridiculous. Like...
You have to be careful how far down you go with saying things like that.
I'm going to stop talking right now.
What have you been up to, Toto? Let's just change subject swiftly, as though nothing's happening.
So this week I've been digging a lot of stuff about SEO and more specifically like technical SEO, I would say.
Search engine optimization.
That's correct. So we're releasing a new site, and I was curious to know a bit how, well, engines come and index our website. And I kind of started digging and getting, it's not nothing crazy, but it's stuff that I wasn't really aware of, like all the different tags that are used, all the different tools that you can use to track that. And I discovered that it's a crazy world at SEO because like it's every article that you read are basically buy my stuff.
Well, exactly. But they've done the SEO.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you search for SEO, you get to their site. There we go. Yeah, SEO is a weird one. Like when I remember my first job, there was a guy that worked there who later became an SEO person, like someone that you hire for SEO.
Okay.
And I've always found it a bit of a weird thing because no one actually know. Like obviously Google is the search engine that everyone like focuses on. We'll get you to the front page of Google. I have to be careful saying that word because things around me will set off. That's why I say it in a stupid voice. Anyway, it's all about that company.
Yeah.
And,
the G company.
Yeah, G company. But and yeah, everything's like focused around, you know, being on page 1, being first ranked, whatever. But as far as I understand it, even G Money don't even know exactly how the SEO algorithm stuff works, right? There's like no one person that actually knows at G Money how the stuff works, because it's just like this super complicated algorithm. So I don't really understand how these SEO experts that get you to page 1, what they're actually doing.
Well, I guess first it's at least understanding the basics. This is exactly what I was missing personally, because I never looked at it. But understanding the different tags that you have access to, that you can put on your headers, and the different basically tools that you can use to help you doing that, which I never played with, so that was kind of funky, playing with the meta tags and how to test them. Basically, it's just you have so much information and it's very spread. There's no kind of article that will tell you, oh, you should try that, you should try, because all of them, the only thing that they want is basically read my first 2-3 points, and then you should buy my book, or you should buy my training, or you should but it was
because I was going to say, back in the day, I remember, like I said, there was this guy that did that, and back then it was all like, it's all about your keywords and shoving keywords in your meta tags.
Yeah,
getting your keywords in your meta tags. That's what they used to say. The SEO guru used to come and he used to go, have you got your keywords in the meta tags? And that's what you used to do. And then Google G Company were like, hold on, that ain't good. And then they moved away from that. And the big thing was about being, having content. It was all about the content, the frequency. You need to update your content frequently.
Okay.
So it re-indexes and it sees a change, and then you get boosted because it's active. It's an active website. And then it all became mysterious to me and I stopped caring. But like you said about tools, one of the things I find interesting, back in the day, there were no tools.
Yeah.
I keep saying back in the day.
Yeah.
As
back
though,
in
like,
the day
it was
of
a time
3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like back in the day today.
Yeah.
Like 5 hours ago. No. I keep saying that, but anyway, I've completely lost my train of thought. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So,
the tools. I was going to say the tools. There was no tools.
Yeah.
So you just had to like do it, wait like 3 weeks for things to be re-indexed or whatever, and see what happened. But these days, there's loads of tools, and there's some cool stuff as well. Like, also back then, search results were just a list of links with like a little bit of a description or something.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you have all this like rich media that you can send through, which is way more interesting.
Yeah. So I listed like a bunch of tools that I basically used quite a lot in there to kind of work all those metadata. It's like, there's one that two that I used quite a lot at the start was the card validator from Twitter, where basically you put your link and it shows how it would appear on Twitter. And from that already you can just guess quite a bunch of information. There's the debugger from Facebook also, where it lists all your metadata that Facebook will use and warn you, telling you, hey, you're missing this one, for example. And
yeah, that reminds me actually, because Facebook started an initiative called Open Graph, didn't they? Where they had Open Graph meta tags and things that were like trying to standardize like meta tags for like rich media.
Yeah. So I didn't know it came from Facebook.
Yeah, I think it was Facebook. It might have been Facebook and Twitter, but it was like early days of Facebook, when obviously they wanted to like take over the world, and before they realized that social networks were a bad thing or whatever. I don't think they've realized that yet. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay,
someone need to fact check.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're pretty good on that, because so the tool, you just paste your link, it will scrape your site and tell you, so like show you how it would look on Facebook, obviously, but also list you all the tags and tell you, okay, for example, you gave me an image that I will display.
Yeah.
But if you want to be more efficient on that, give me also the height and the width of the image. Like this, we can just arrange it directly. There's little advice that are quite cool in there.
Yeah.
And cool. This is how I managed to make them richer and richer the more I was digging.
Yeah.
Just by using those two tools already, I had already something that was quite consequent.
Yeah. So like that's like, it helps, I guess, if someone shares it on like Facebook or someone shares it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not just like a basic link, and it doesn't rely on Twitter and Facebook going and trying to figure out what it should display. Like, back in the day again, but like on Twitter and Facebook or whatever, someone would share a link and they'd show the first image on the page.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was completely irrelevant. Because it was like an ad or something.
I think
so
WordPress,
this just like cuts that out.
WordPress does that also. If you don't put like an image to describe your thing, it will take the first image that it sees in the article.
Right.
By default.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are two tools that I kind of were quite fun. And the other was, so you mentioned the rich data from Google. So basically it's to give more context to your search when you search. Like, for example, when you search movies on Google, it shows you a print of the movie, and
like ratings and stuff.
Yeah, ratings and kind of extra information that will make the link richer. And
so in a way, so like what you're clicking on, so you kind of trust what you're clicking on.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically they have this thing called structured data markup, which is basically JSON. And this tool, again, where it's a markup helper, where you can load your site and say, okay, my site is, a shop that sells whatever. So you load basically a page of that site through that tool, and you'll click on, for example, the name of the product and say, this is the name. You'll click on the... Like
it actually renders the web page.
Correct. It renders it
like in an iframe.
Yeah, I guess something like that. And then you just have to click around and say, okay, this is the title, this is the author or the publisher or whatever. And this gives you a JSON at the end. And what I did on my case is just I took that JSON, put it on the HTML, and just put those transform the hard-coded part into variables.
Oh, I see.
And that's it.
Because it's like a one-shot thing where you go on, you click it, and it like basically copies the text of the title, puts it in the JSON. It doesn't say, it's not like mapping the JSON to HTML elements.
No.
So it's dynamic. It's just it's just like a static. Click it copies and pastes it in, and then you click save, copy it, put that in your web page.
And basically what you do then, we use Python and Flask. So with your Jinja template, then you'll just feed that
replace the bits you need to replace. But I see what you mean. It's like a good way to get the kind of data that you want to show that you have, because if it's on the page, you have that data, right?
And it's just clicking around.
You click on it. Yeah, you click around and then you say, okay, these are the things that we can add because we have this information. So
it's pretty helpful because it gives you exactly the fields that structured data markup has, because you can't put anything. There's like a limited number of fields.
It's not free form. It's like specific things like categories or like probably not even categories, just like title.
It does have categories.
Cool. And is it the same with image as well? So you can.
For example, for us, it's a store of applications. So I was just putting the icon.
Yeah,
and I think, but to verify, you can also even go to with a screenshot. But
nice.
there's pretty cool stuff in there.
Yeah, that is cool.
And finally, the last step was the sitemap.xml, which is
Oh, sitemaps.
I know.
I forgot about sitemaps.
I know. It's crazy, yeah.
Back in the day, sitemaps were all the rage.
Well, it's actually
XML
it's still
sitemap.
relevant because you help the crawlers basically. You help telling them where to look and the priority of your pages. So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
you generate that sitemap,
Yeah.
and to finish with the tools, you have search.google.com, where once you link your site to your tool, to the search engine, you can give it the sitemap, and Google will know a little bit easier where to go, basically.
And like, I guess because G Money do this, all the other search engines just kind of follow suit. It becomes the standard, I guess, because they are so massive. So I guess if you follow the G way of doing things, then you kind of covered for everything, right? Like the other ones.
Yeah, as much as I love DuckDuckGo and I use it every day, Google is it's still 95% of our traffic. It's kind of hard to focus so much for the 5% that will be based anyway on Google metadata or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to focus on the big one.
Yeah.
Like once you get the big one sorted, then you can start looking individually at the smaller ones. But even then, it's whether it's worth it. Do you get the traffic from there or not? Probably not.
It's a difficult conflict, and honestly, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So that was basically
cool.
all the madness I went into.
Yeah.
So it's nothing crazy.
No,
it's just because everything is, as I said earlier, is everything is in so many different articles, and it sounds so simple.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know I've kind of shit on SEO a little bit, saying well, what they actually do, they just want you to buy the thing. But I also went through a similar, I think a lot of people go through a similar kind of journey where, SEO came out, I was like, I'm going to try that stuff. And I was like, okay, I can't be bothered with this. I'm just going to make websites. And then, as a developer, you kind of don't think about it. But then when you start leading a project or doing something that is external facing, and you're you kind of get pressures to improve, you get metrics, basically. You get KPIs or whatever that you have to hit. You have to start thinking of ways that you can bring more people in, bring more traffic in, or, hit those KPIs. And then you start looking at SEO stuff again. And I think loads of people go through this, and you find this big wealth of information. Well, this big bucket of information that's I don't know, tiny little buckets of information within this big bucket. But after a while, you get a good picture.
Yeah.
But even then, it's still a bit magic. You make the changes, you commit them, and then you just wait and see if it works.
Exactly. I keep reloading the search to see. It's completely useless, but.
But that's the thing though, you have analytics and stuff. So once you've done it, I mean, it's a bit different when it's a new site. I think when we did it for Snapcraft, it was interesting because before we hadn't done any SEO stuff on it, and then we did it, and we definitely saw an increase.
Yeah, okay.
In people visiting the site, and there's also loads of other factors. It might not just be that added SEO stuff, but it could have been just because, I don't know, an article went out in Forbes or somewhere, and loads of people were like, oh, I didn't know about that, and then they click it.
Yeah.
But, or they search for it or whatever.
Well, there's way to find that also, but I agree. It's fun. It was fun.
And I think that's one of the things. It's there's no there are no hard and fast metrics to show that it has worked. is kind of assumed to have worked. If you see an uptake after you do it, you assume that it works.
Well, especially as you say, when it's a new site, because I don't know. Is the PR excellent, or is the site super well indexed?
Well, exactly. But that's the thing. You shouldn't have. You've peaked too early. You should have waited half a year, and then when you get the call, it's like, we need to increase the traffic.
Yeah.
You'd have had it all ready set up. You just uncomment the code. You just uncomment the meta tags. And then boom, within a day, and you can be like, look at me. I am the website king.
So this is how you stay in your jobs, basically. You keep some super exciting stuff, and then suddenly you're like, oh, look at that. And everyone is still like, oh my God, Luke, you need to stay with us. You're amazing.
Exactly. It's all about the troughs and the peaks. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just like let things go and you let them settle a bit, and then you let them, kind of take a little bit of a turn down, and people are like, oh my God, what's happening? We need to like work on this. And then you've already got a change that is going to affect things in mind. You implement that there's a massive bump, and you're like, yep, fixed it. I saved you all.
Teach me, master.
I wish I would.
Teach me, master.
I really wish I was that like, I don't know, in control of things.
Yeah.
I wish I was that in control of my own life.
Jingle, 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 the jingle, jingle, jingle for the podcast.
Look. Tell me. What's the story?
So I know last time, and I've had one message. I actually haven't checked whether I've had any emails, but I've had one message asking about the monitor situation. So I'm going to talk about the kitchen renovation that I'm having done.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a...
So I always seem to talk about my home office related things. This should just be like the home working podcast or something, because it's always just like the trials and tribulations of work from home. So I was working the other day, getting on with stuff. It's fine. The electrician was round. He was like, oh, I might need to switch the electricity off at some point. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Just let me know before. Halfway through a line of code, computer just switched off. Yeah. I was like, cool. I wish I'd known. So then I went to my laptop, worked on my laptop for a bit, tethering, obviously, because the internet was off. Tethered to my phone, worked on there for a bit. I was like, okay, this is not bad. It says I've got like six hours of battery. Then I started doing some pretty intense computing.
Whoa.
I really that CPU.
Wait, did you do the code?
It wasn't just code. I didn't just do the code.
Great.
I ran the code.
Oh my God. Wait. Did you have a hoodie?
At the time, there was a hoodie in the room, but it was not on my person.
Hacker spotted.
Oh my God. I switched the lights off as well. Well, actually, I didn't switch the lights off. The electricity went off. They were off anyway. So anyway, my laptop said it had 6 hours. I started doing some intense computing. And like 2 hours later, it was like, I don't know, 10% or something. And then, it got to the point where it was 2% battery left. And I thought, I'm just going to save and switch this off and just kind of give up. And then I switched it off, plugged it in, just so that it charged when the power did come back on. And as I came back up the stairs, the radio up here was on. The lights were on.
Yes.
The kettle was on that I'd switched to boil. Side note, we have a kettle on the top floor at the minute because obviously they're working on the kitchen and I need a kettle.
Well, you're British, so it makes sense.
Well, exactly. I switched. The kettle was boiling as I walked back upstairs, and I was like, the power's just come back on. I've literally plugged my laptop in because it was going to die, walked away from it, and everything has come back on. And another side note, the reason the kettle was switched on was because when my computer switched off, I thought, I'll get my laptop and I'll make a cheeky coffee on the way. Doesn't really work when you don't have electricity.
Yeah, no. I heard that turning on the kettle without electricity doesn't really work. Maybe fire helps.
Yeah, but again, they're in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I was tempted to just like switch the kettle on and then just stand there and wait for it to boil. But like, what's this taking ages to boil 3 hours later?
The water must be really cold for it to take that long.
it must have boiled by now. So yeah, and that was one day, and then the rest of the week has just been, or the rest of the last 2 weeks has been pretty crazy, really, because I've with the builders being round, they constantly asking questions or getting my opinion on things like what do you think of this nail varnish color, and like where should we go on like holiday and stuff like that. The kind of stuff that builders ask you.
Yeah, of course.
And at the same time, I've been trying to do loads of work. So I've been doing some late nights working because I've been disturbed in the day. And I too am also a bit frazzled.
So,
frizz-frazzled.
Luke, what have you been eating then? With no kitchen? Are you ordering food like crazy, or are you...
I've just been eating sunshine.
Whoa.
And clouds. Now, we preempted this. We were clever. We got some microwave meals.
Nice.
So we have a kettle and a microwave upstairs. So we've been having microwave meals. I'm not going to lie. Got a couple of takeaways. I'm not going to lie.
No?
Eat out to help out. Eat in to help in. Eat out to help out. I can't remember what their slogan is these days for.
So what's your favorite microwave food?
Interesting. That is a good question. So today, I actually had a saucisson pasta bake thing, which was actually pretty good. I had a lasagna last week that was also good. It was a lasagna with pancetta in it, which was interesting but good. For Amelia, it was a little too piggy. So yeah, I mean the main issue has been my daughter, because she doesn't have she has specific things.
Okay.
She eats specific things, not other things. So that's been difficult. But yeah, that's my update. That's my office update.
Yeah, okay.
Office update.
Interesting. No, I'm sure people will be happy to learn about that and all the stuff with the screen and.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that. I mean, we could talk about shall we talk about my screen?
Look,
we could talk about it.
Do you want to talk about it? Come on, you've done some cool stuff with it.
Yeah, so I got it. It came. It did arrive. Only one arrived, unfortunately. It was just the one. But I'm still holding it.
It would have been too much space anyway. And with the kitchen
it genuinely would have been crazy. Yeah, so only one came. Still holding out hope that the second one will come at some point. But anyway, it's really good.
Yeah?
Actually. I am definitely 100% a convert. When I first got it, I was like, this is obscene. This is crazy. But it's actually really useful.
Okay.
Like, I on one, because, I mean, we talked about it before, how I was thinking of setting it up. I did actually get it working with the widescreen having two monitors split on it. But I've actually just not carried on with that because I never really have anything that I need to do that.
Okay.
Like I need to have a persistent window. I don't have a console on it like I thought I would, like a terminal on it like I thought I would. I do have the browser console open on my development thing, on my development workspace. And then on my general general web browser workspace, I have, like right now, I have the web browser that takes up like 2/3 of the screen. And then the final third, I have Notion open all the time.
Okay.
Which is actually really useful to just like jump in and take notes or like, copy stuff over or, it's just really useful.
So
yeah.
Do you try sometimes to put it in like a window in big? And I think you sent me that GIF where you start reading a sentence from one side to the screen and then read all the way to the other side.
Well, but that's the funny thing. You quickly realize that many websites don't utilize the full width of the screen.
Yeah.
Like I showed you as well, didn't I? The email, like you get an email and the email's set to like, I don't know, be like 400 pixels wide.
Yeah, okay.
And this monitor's like 3,440 pixels wide or something. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's just in the middle of the screen. It's like this tiny little box, tiny little like slither in the middle of the screen. But yeah, it's good. Like, yeah, some things are a bit weird, but actually, one of the things that I really like, earlier today, I was like looking at some documentation while I had like the dashboard for this thing up, and I was looking at documentation, both the websites. And I just like dragged the tab out. It went next to it. There was still well enough space to do both of them, and I still had Notion on the side where I was like, you know, like copying bits or like adding, like writing notes and stuff for it. So it's really good. And then like when I'm doing that, if I'm on a call or something, I just put the call under Notion. So Notion is like 1/3 of the screen, but the top half, and then the bottom half of that 1/3 is like the call, and that is well big enough.
Okay.
Like for just like when you're sitting on a call with someone for a while, working from home life.
Yeah.
You just put them down there. It's great.
Yeah.
But having said all this, I do still have my vertical portrait monitor, which is where my code goes. So, you know,
I still don't understand that. With the
why to have it?
to have another screen, it seems like so much screen.
It is a lot of screen.
Like,
but the other upside of it is actually the landscape one that I had on this desk. I've moved downstairs into into the other office that has a standing desk in it, and so I have a monitor down there for my laptop. So most of last week, apart from the day that my computer switched off, where I was like, right, I'm just going to work on my computer today, the entire week before, and like the entire week I worked at my standing desk, and you know, working from like 9 until like near midnight. So I got a lot of standing in. My heels really hurt at the end of that week. But it was nice because I had another monitor there. Like I had 2 monitors, which was cool. So this house is full of screens. Like I've got 2 here. There's one there with a laptop. There's another one downstairs. There's like 2 TVs. I've got a tablet here, a phone here.
yeah, because
It's just ridiculous.
but you gave up reality. Now you just watch screens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
none of this background that you can see on this call
yeah.
is actually real.
Yeah,
It's just one big screen.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I escape from reality as much as you can, you know.
Yeah,
Put us-
exactly. And
Yeah.
like it's really small. I don't have a bed or anything. I just got one of those gamer chairs. So I just like kick back
Good.
and sleep. Like after this call, I just reach back, switch the light off
Yeah.
until it's time to wake up
as you
and
should do.
play Dota again.
And your glasses are tiny screens also, no? In case you go out.
Yeah, exactly. These aren't actually my eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
My eyes are just bloodshot and red because I look at so many screens. So these glasses are actually screens like outwards, so it looks as though my eyes are normal.
Uh,
Oh man,
well,
tiny little screen update.
that's cool. It seems cool. I just like my screen for now. My setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I was on the fence about it. I've done it. I'm happy. Like, I'm happy with it. I'd say if people get the chance to try it, should try it.
Yeah.
Just to see. You might not like it. You might like it. But the thing is, you don't really get a chance to just like try it for a couple of days because they are so massively, prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
There you go. I don't have any. Like, I have other stuff that we could talk about, but I think we should save it for another time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You mentioned a few times Notion, and I really hope that we can do an episode about that because we've been both kind of playing around with the tool, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to talk about the different approaches we kind of took at the beginning of it to it. Yeah, and some of the little projects that we work on it.
Maybe we have a topic for next episode. Well, I suggest we say.
Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, we tell people. What do we say usually to people? Follow us on Twitter on 418. No, how is it? 418 teapod.
Yeah, that's it, on Twitter, yep.
And
email us at 418@teapod.club.
Brilliant.
Visit the website at teapod.club.
And remember,
And
Luke
genuinely-
is still waiting for his email. What are you doing?
I haven't checked this week, but I assume that I haven't received one.
Bisous.
Thanks, everyone. Bisous. If you fall asleep, then I'll fall asleep. We can spoon each other over webcam.